So hi everybody and welcome back for another diecast review. This is the Renault RE60 driven by Patrick Tambay in 1985. And it was a fantastic car, it was the magic era of the turbo time in Formula 1. These were still a season where they could use completely the power coming from the unit, the motor unit. Usually they were V6 with turbocharged, and they were able to output something like 900 horsepower. 900 horsepower, we are talking of cars without any traction control, still with the issue of the pedals before the front suspension, so it was really something particular to see these cars in action. And so on. When you see this type of refurbished cars in a modern event, when they took these classics in tracks like Monza or Imola and they used to race them, it's always extremely nice because it brings you back memories from back in time when they were the real Formula 1 car. But the point is that, of course, being so delicate items, being refurbished items, and being in the hands of just extremely rich guys that used to drive them, they are just showing off, so you will never see them driven like they had to be driven. I remember that the only one that I see was 1982, I think it was Andretti in Monza, yeah, the only race that I see with my granddad, and the speed was impressive. You really see this monster arrive in an incredibly high speed. It was 1982 that year, so this was absolutely even faster stuff, because the car from the 82, I think they had between 600 to 650 horsepower, despite these units had nearly 900 horsepower. And indeed, the year later, from 1986-87, arriving to the last year of the turbo time, 88, they had to apply a Westgate valve over the motor that cut the extra power of the motor, plus they had to reduce the tank in the car, the fuel tank inside these cars. And even more, the engineers had to work about the power, because you cannot use completely the output of these units, and you had to down the power, basically, the motor, to make them in the same level of the starting not turbocharged cars like they started from 1988, arriving to, I think they were not turbocharged until 2014, 2014, sorry. And yeah, so for nearly 20 years they basically remained with the ordinary, before it was V12, then V8, then V10, and basically it was the V10 unit that arrived. Also all the Schumacher era around the year 2000 was made with the V10 unit, So it was very interesting to see that technological gap between the cars during this year. The model is once again, I think, provided by IXO, and I recognize them because also in this model they have finally increased the quality of the tire. They are still not at the level of something that you can do using Tamiya tires, rubber and so on, but they are very nice. This collection is still the one that you can find in the kiosk selling newspapers, in Italy at least, at the price of 25 euros. They are different from the other series featuring just the Ferrari in the 1/24 scale, and they have a plastic solid showcase. This is instead a soft blister that basically forces you, if you open the parts down here, the carton down here, you're basically forced to show the model completely open, or to buy an external showcase that costs indeed the 5 euros. That is the difference between this series and the other series. So this is for 25 euro, the other series for 30. If you buy the plastic showcase, you add 5 euros also. This one arrived to cost exactly 30 euros, And they are absolutely well done. The wheels are coming surely from other models that they did in the same collection. You have the Formula 1, the Ferrari 156/85 driven by Michele Alboreto. It's very nice because also here you have a very interesting book explaining mostly the technicality of a car that was basically not at all a winning car, despite the huge powerful they were crossing a time where the Renault cars, they started from 1978 developing the turbo, the real turbo with the Alpine, winning Le Mans, and arriving to the last turbos like this one that were not any longer competitive. Mostly they say in this book because they were too delicate, so they were very very easy to break up and not able to maintain the power that they promised on the papers, you know. So it was the same issues that they had during all the season, and the turbo engine were always famous to be incredibly powerful but not so reliable at all. And it was famous, you know. I think this car was one of the last and the less reliable ever that Renault did. I don't think they win so much with this car, absolutely, despite the driver was this gentleman driver, you know. I mean, not a real gentleman driver, was a gentleman, not a gentleman driver, sorry. And it was the winner of the ELF school that they had in France. It was a very very cool idea that they had in the 70s to grow up young kids that want to become pilots for Formula One cars. It was a school provided by the ELF gasoline company in France. It was a real school for young guys, and all the name coming like René Arnoux, Patrick Tambay, Gilles Villeneuve also. No, maybe not, because Gilles was Canadian, so he didn't come from the French school, but surely Alain Prost, and they were all belonging to this school, you know. No, Gilles had another history. Gilles was much more the best ever, Gilles, the best ever. But it's anyway connected because they say in the book that Tambay was the best friend of Gilles. It was also the confirmation guy that was so near to the son, to Jacques Villeneuve, another legendary pilot of decades later, you know. So it is very very nice that they dedicate this car to Tambay. The other one was another living legend, still alive, still one of my favorite ever, that is René Arnoux. René, legendary guy, you know, and just René Arnoux was just dismissed from Ferrari in '85. The legend says, I don't know if it is true or not, that he had been dismissed because he touched the wrong lady in the Ferrari team. That was probably the wife of somebody a little bigger than him. So he was basically dismissed by the company unofficially for this reason. This was a little trivia behind the story of these models, you know. As usual, as we can say, the models are fantastically done. This is the last quality that you can have from them. So for 25 euros, you have excellent details. Of course, you know, being a car, a model, a toy, for about 25 euros, you cannot pretend so much. Mine indeed has a little spot of whatever color down there. Now I don't know if you can see that there. I try to spot it on. You see there, there is a spot on the paint. Despite many details are lovely done. The suspension is painted whatever mode. The engraving is a little bit heavy, you know. This is just modeling consideration of something that, as I always say in these videos, is always constantly worth the buy. So if you find them, buy, close your eyes, buy, take my money and run away, because they are absolutely a must to have in any kind of collection. And if you love this period, this turbo timer, like I do, is absolutely worth it. Of course, there is no tracks of carbon fiber. In 1985, they already start to have the monocoque made in half aluminium and half carbon fiber and composite materials like Kevlar and so on. There is no tracks of the proper decal here. You see, completely plastic black. You cannot pretend it. There is some folks around that used to take them, rework the wheels, rework the part that don't feature the carbon fiber. But in my opinion, is not so much worth it. You know, it's if you want to really to build up something professionally of this model, it's better that you search for Model Factory or Studio 27 cars and you build them from scratch, from the ground, directly that model that is absolutely much more detailed, also slightly bigger. So it's a different object. I think this is very very nice for a basic connection, and if you like the thematical about the Formula One of the 80s, this is absolutely a must to have. So absolutely well done. What is astonishing and well done is also the tampo decal, you see. Despite you can see that also here there is some imperfections on the wrap of all the model. Some dirty job, you know, I see some dirty fingerprints over this one. I will not open the blister to correct it, I have no need, but there you can see the black spots. So it's very very easy. It's very very easy that in the manufacturing place these models arrive in these conditions, you know. Nothing dramatic, you know, for the level of the model is absolutely okay. And that's it. There is no mistakes in this assembly. As I showed you in other videos, sometimes the wings are mounted in the wrong position, so these have spot of dirt, but the assembly is very well done. So you have to choose. If the paint is perfect, usually the assembly is not perfect. If the paint is not perfect, the assembly usually is. And also here they increase a lot the details of the radiators. I hope you can see through the blister. Also the darkening smoke effect on the front windshield is absolutely well taken. So it's nice. It's a very nice model of the RE60, you know. It's a must to have. Also this one is a must to have if you like the cars from the 80s, if you like these pilots, Tambay, Arnaud, Villeneuve. They were absolutely something that you have to collect. Of course there is always that nasty feeling of the decal seat belts, and they tried anyway to add also the fire extinguisher under the legs of the pilot. Very cute detail, you know, not so well done, but it's nice. It's nice to see, you know. It's a proof that they are increasing the quality of this stuff. So that's it. In my opinion, is absolutely worth the money they ask for if you are able to find, because now they are becoming. There is currently, when I am making this video, a war down to Yemen in that area of the entrance in the Red Sea, so the ships arriving from China cannot cross the Red Sea and enter through the Suez Channel in the Mediterranean, and they have to circumnavigate the Africa continent. So this item to arrive in the shops takes 2 months more than the original scheduled. They write exactly what I'm telling you in the original website of Centauria, so also that item, they arrive constantly delayed comparing to the original scheduling of the arrival in the shop. So this is an issue that you currently have with this collection, but it's no problem. I mean, it's not medicine, it's not food. We don't need them to survive, so if we don't buy it here now, we buy them in 1 month, so no problem. Just it's important to find them because it's not so easy to find. So I have a guy that I trust in a shop, in a kiosk, selling this stuff, so every time I tell him, remember man, I'm Paolo, I buy them, keep them for me, he do, and he called me, so I have this lucky here, and I appreciate it absolutely, and enjoy that the guy take the stuff, keep the stuff for me, and have a special eye on the stuff that he gives me. Also when he can, he check also the quality, because as I said, sometimes it happens that they have crack, the blister is broken, the part is broken. Very common that you receive these items directly from the editor when they have them in stock, and they arrive with parts that are broken. The Ferrari 312 T4 was famous because nearly all of them have the rear wing that arrived broken and floating around the box and damaging the rest of the model. So it's not so obvious and easy stuff to collect. So you have to be a little bit lucky with this. As usual, my tip is to collect it. The car is fantastic and it gives the match to be placed together with the Ferrari 156/85 and the Lotus from Nigel Mansell and Ayrton Senna. So it's very nice era. The turbo time is my favorite ever. That's it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next.